Join me as I dive deep into the events of 11/9 and see if I can connect the dots on how it truly shaped American history. In this video, you will explore how the attacks on September 11th created a ripple effect that influenced various aspects of American history and society. The 9/11 attacks sent shockwaves across the nation, leaving people stunned and grief-stricken. In the immediate aftermath, national security concerns took center stage, as the government scrambled to prevent future attacks and identify those responsible. The FBI launched a massive investigation, and the Department of Homeland Security was established to coordinate the country's response to terrorism. Economic concerns also arose, as the attacks disrupted global trade and finance, causing stock markets to plummet and air travel to grind to a halt. As the country struggled to come to terms with the new reality, societal changes began to manifest, with many Americans re-examining their values and priorities. The attacks also raised questions about American identity and the nation's role in global affairs. The fear and uncertainty created an atmosphere in which civil liberties were compromised, and people from Middle Eastern and South Asian backgrounds faced discrimination and prejudice. As the government rushed to respond to the crisis, it often prioritized security over individual rights, leading to controversial policies and practices that would have long-lasting consequences. The attacks also led to a significant shift in American foreign policy, as the Bush administration launched the War on Terror, invading Afghanistan and later Iraq, in a bid to root out terrorist networks and regimes that supported them. In the years that followed, the War on Terror would become a defining feature of American foreign policy, with the U.S. military involvement in multiple conflicts and a significant increase in military spending. The invasion of Iraq, in particular, would have far-reaching consequences, including the rise of ISIS and the destabilization of the Middle East. At home, the Patriot Act expanded the government's surveillance powers, allowing it to collect data on citizens and monitor their activities more closely. This raised concerns about privacy and the potential for government overreach. The attacks also led to significant changes in immigration policy, as the government sought to prevent similar attacks in the future. The Patriot Act and other legislation led to increased scrutiny of immigrants and visitors, particularly those from Muslim-majority countries. This had a profound impact on Muslim American communities, who faced increased discrimination and stereotyping. Furthermore, the creation of the Department of Homeland Security and the reorganization of the intelligence community also had significant implications for the country's immigration policies. The passing of the USA Patriot Act, just 45 days after the 9/11 attacks, exemplified the drastic changes in American law and society following the attacks. The act gave the government sweeping new powers to conduct surveillance, search homes, and detain individuals, all in the name of national security. While supporters argued that it was necessary to prevent future attacks, critics charged that it violated fundamental civil liberties and rights. The Patriot Act marked a significant shift in the balance between security and individual freedom, setting a precedent for future expansions of government power. The Patriot Act had far-reaching consequences, from the expansion of NSA surveillance to the use of Guantanamo Bay as a detention center for suspected terrorists. It also led to the creation of fusion centers, which brought together local, state, and federal agencies to share intelligence and coordinate responses to terrorism. While proponents argued that it improved national security, critics warned of the potential for abuse and the erosion of civil liberties. The Patriot Act also had significant implications for American identity and culture. It raised questions about the role of government in society, the balance between security and freedom, and the treatment of minorities and immigrants. It sparked a national debate about the extent to which the government should be allowed to collect data on citizens, monitor their activities, and detain individuals without due process. In the end, the 9/11 attacks not only altered U.S. domestic and foreign policies but also affected cultural perceptions and community relations within the country. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you want to share your thoughts on how 9/11 shaped American history, leave them in the comments below. And if you want to explore more historical events that continue to influence our present, be sure to check out my other videos.